Back again, and Gold Strat Workshop number 11, whatever, I always forget. Hello, I hope everyone had a good cycle last time, or a better one this time. Alexa, lower volume. I was trying to be cool and put like some back music on, but then I was like, oh, Alex will freak out when he tries to post this to YouTube because there'll be like copyright issues. So I went with some just background sound, which now you can barely hear, which is fine. But I'm gonna work on that so there's something playing in the background, because I always feel like when there's nothing playing in the background, it's just me going, nah. All right, so lots to go over this time. This is going to be our deep dive, Haley, into the back five. So the deep dive into the back five rhymes, and that's all good and all. But more importantly, last time we took a deeper look at the front 10 and got the 31 right. So we got 28 sevens, we got 28s, we got 31. So we got half of the drop right, which is better than nothing. I got a 500 with Atari, but woo, he got me that sweet regional. Anyways, if you haven't already seen them, I'm sure you have by now. But our new IWA new look bulletins that caused all the ruckus because, oh my God, how dare the IWA change anything without talking to me first? Why, I oughta. God damn. There is more drama bullshit in parts of the IWA than needs to be. I really laugh about it. It's like, really? Like, I keep an old message I got a long time ago, back when the IWAR was really starting to get some speed, and the Flutters were like, "No, limits are horrible." And to be fair, we flexed up to like 8 or 9 leagues, and people were like, "You can't do that, man. We'll flood your leagues." I'm like, "Well, we have limits, so you won't really." And then those that did flood the league didn't do that well, so it was like, "Well, we'll flood some more. We'll say mean things about you." And I was like, "Okay, that I just won't respond to you," which, by the way, works really well. And I got this message, and I saved the screenshot of it, which was 2 or 3 of the people reaching out to me, being like, "Hey, man, we think we can smooth this over. What you got to do is just remove the limits from like a bunch of your leagues, and we'll be cool." Well, 8 years later, that's what we think of that. Just so like, I saw a post recently, a couple days ago. I think it was Chris Stevens posted it, but I wanted to give him credit because he made a good point, and one I agree with. This is our goddamn hobby. I can do my hobby however I want. If I want to run my hobby with a league limit of 2, I can do it, or 1, or whatever. It's about having fun. And if you put on a better product that has more fun, hey Catfish, people will want to play there. So I just was getting a kick out of the explosive rage over the new look IWA, which I think looks cool. It's a easier to read font, a little more modern. I mean, they've changed the bulletin once in 15, 16, 17 years. About time. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but Alexa, lower volume. We were asked to vote on it, so I just wanted to mention that off the top of the broadcast to please let everybody know your top 3 choices, 1, 2, 3, because they apparently going to vote in a weighted system. I voted for 1, and then they were like, "Do you want to vote for others?" And I was like, I don't give a shit. Like, whatever, it's fine. I mean, I like the ID numbers on the page. It saves a page in the back. The only thing is, as a commissioner or as a player, it takes me a little more time to find who I'm looking for sometimes. But whatever, it's fine. I enjoyed it. My master list. So, we talked about the vote. Quick little preview is things coming up later on the line. Events. We have events in the IWAR coming up. Spring events. Four Corners Invitational. Von Erich Classic. Johnny B Cup. Murano Memorial. So I'll give you a little preview of each. Four Corners Invitational will be 4 separate tournaments to narrow down to 1 like league representative. There will be, however, we've made a big change as a whole, as a network, if you will. NWL players can join. For a while, we were like, oh, I felt kind of bad because it was like, NWL players were just getting slaughtered in the tournaments. But then we had a couple of years where we had like some really good players. So I was like, do you want, so we've decided to go back and allow NWL players to join. So if you're an NWL player and you're like, hey, I want to be in there, please feel free to join. These tournaments are all about winning IWA credit or prizes, so it's a little bit different. Like Four Corners Invitational is a certain breakdown. I don't have it all in front of me right now, actually. Maybe I do. Because I get paper bulletins. That looks pretty damn snazzy. Look at that. So while I have you here, I'll quickly go over. And I will just go quickly over these because they should be gone over. Because people have asked, like, well, how much does it join? It is $1 to join the Four Corners Invitational. There's no real limit on wrestlers yet that I've seen, but I know usually we go like 6 or 8. It's $1 a wrestler. So if you want in on it, it's $1. Join in. The Erich Classic is $5 per team. That's 5, so it's a little more pricey, but it's a big 6-man tournament. It narrows the field down to people who really want to be in it. I've been keeping track of the entries on my end, trying to do the best I can. And it's going to be a lot of good teams in this. So it's a third year going. The Von Schnaps won it last year, so you know it needs more competition. Had to beat the Litigators. Damn you! We have the Johnny B. Cup. Now, Johnny B. Cup is another singles elimination tournament. We use complete total strategy score to determine the winners. Back when I was doing these, like the first year, we had 250 some odd entries. It was insane. It was a lot of matches to sign. So now I just will do head-to-head total strat score, with the tiebreaker being how much money you earned in the Battle Royal. It's not perfect, but nothing is. The only difference is you get Autoway credit for the prize. What we do a lot now, too, is we break down the prizes by the finish. So, for instance, if you ran the top 2 wrestlers out of the top 4, you'd get the top prize overall, and then the 5th place finisher would get the 4th place prize. It's a way of spreading out the money. So we have that. We have the Morano Memorial Cup, which is named after Frank Morano, who was a kind of a controversial figure in the IWA, to be honest. He started the UWF. When he left the game, caused a lot of friction. But when I was first starting out and I had no idea what I was doing and using the same exact strategy for the Hawaiian, my crappy Ricky Steamboat, Jimmy Snuka ripoff wrestler, I think we all do. Like I always say, like, how many of us have that first wrestler that first, like, we made the name when we were 13, like, this is a good name. Everyone's gonna be like, yeah, the Hawaiian. No, our names are terrible. So the Morano Memorial is named after Frank, and Frank really helped me get in good with the crowd. I lucked out in a lot of ways, and I kind of owe my hideaway existence in some ways to the GML, which is the Grandmasters League. And in that league, there were all these great players, and I kind of fell into it. I had superstar Rick Riley. I mean, there was Power Team USA, Hot Rod Hoven, Rich Farrell, Alex the Hammer Dallas, Johnny Revolution, which we all know who he came to be. Just the stud machine, name after name after name of all these good players. Dr. Death Dave Barton. And there was this whole big angle where Power Team USA's valet, Crystal, was returning from her pregnancy. And I proceeded to have Rick Riley pile driver through a table. And in true, like, old school heel face thing, the entire league turned on me and, like, came out. I had got sneak attack like 6 times the next cycle by people who were like, you son of a bitch. It was fun. But I had no idea how to do strategies. And I reached out to Frank because his address was in the bulletins, because back in the day, you could put your physical address in the bulletins. Fun side note, the IWA was going to do a IWA yearbook. It was going to have all the managers in the game, their names, addresses, wrestlers. And at the last minute, they were like, wait a minute. Our competition could use this to raid our talent. And they nixed it. So that almost happened. Anyways, I got Frank's information from, I think it was Wrestle World magazine. He was Mr. Wrestling World. And I wrote a letter to him. I'm like, hey, and he was like, oh my God, you're that guy. I was like a 14-year-old kid. So Frank was 21 to 18. And anyways, Frank was a very influential player in my life. We used to talk on the phone all the time, and cancer got him. So I always did this tribute. I loved the Crockett Cup tournament when I was a kid, and this Murano Memorial was my little tribute to that. So I hope you will join up. It is $3 per team. The Johnny B Cup, of course, is a way of honoring Johnny B. When I first actually approached Autoway about doing this tournament, they were like, just don't make it a memorial because we still use Johnny B in our paperwork. It's fine. So that's the events going on. So I'll touch on them again at the end. I think I have my notes here. So let's talk about some drops. Who's excited? This cycle's gonna suck. All right. So first thing first, look what we did. All right. I know we didn't get it right. We got 20. Oops. We got the 27s right. We got the 28s right. We got half of it right. Should have known 1 and 31. They love that was like that damn pairing. It's like 31, 33 or 45, 46. If they love to do certain pairings, you're like, really? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. So, also shout out to Retro Wrestling Games Presents, our fantastic sponsor. There you go, Michael. Hope you enjoyed your plug. So, my friends are texting me. I recently got a PlayStation 4 and I got Battlefront 2, and my friends and I would play a couple times a week, and it's just a fun excuse to scream at each other for a half hour online. So let me turn that volume off. I'm not tired. You're tired. So we got 31 right last time, so that's pretty good. It's halfway there. This time going forward, we're going to do a deeper dive, and I'm going to try a little something different this time. If I can get it to work right. So you'll have to bear with me. Yes, I was a corporate trainer for a while, so that's why I have this stupid stuff. But it comes in handy. All right. Let me get this out. And yes, as you all know, I'm still in the process of packing to move and all that shit. Looks like it's happening in April. That's the rough vibe. I'm doing it backwards. Bear with me here. All right, the back 5. So, before we go into the front 10, I wanted to kind of talk about the back 5. A lot of people ask about the back 5, and they're like, oh, you need a little deeper dive. So, I reached out to some players who I go to for advice, and like Ryan Patrick of IWAR, Ryan Gessner, Michael Cook offered a lot of good ideas. So, I'm going to talk about this. I can get it to work, right? There we go. So here he goes. So looking at the back 5 over the last year, you want to know where 41s, 42s, 43s, 44s, and 45s go, right? I made a little chart, and I may have got 1 or 2 wrong, but the overall point, you can see the basic big numbers here. You zoom in by pulling forward. So hopefully everyone can get that. Leon at a 42 without misstep would have been 491. Yes, 491 will catch everyone. 491 is better than 42. Hopefully what I'm about to show you here will help a little bit. So what I've done is I've shown so 41 across the top here went to 42 over the last year 18 times. So almost always 42. So it's going up. So in some ways, it's kind of like the 25 hold where it goes up. You know it's going to go up. And one of the things I was convincing with Michael about, he was talking about, like, when you're going for perfect point flow versus not, if you're playing at home and you want to kind of see this on a smaller online scale, the actual page for the workshop information has a grid to the right side of the screen that has this grid there. I also have a newer grid below that for other stuff for next time I'm going to do it, but I want to kind of go over the basic stuff first. So 41 went to 42 18 times, so that's up. Went 43 9 10 times, never went to 45 in the past year. So that's just, and this is in gold only, all right? So everyone's like going like, I'm in steel and blah, blah, blah. This is gold. If you want the other workshop. 42, conversely, went down 17 times. And I was talking to Randall Angel, and he told me how he totally punts 42, just does not use it. And I was like, no wonder you beat me by like 3 or 4 points every goddamn time last year. You son of a, you oughta. So 42 can be a pain in the ass. You see, 1 to 43 9 times, 44 3, and 4 times at 45. So is there a chance it can go to 45? Always. But what I will say happens a lot is we notice that the trends in iron and steel. So I mentioned, well, in the next issue, I mentioned about the crazy cycle coming. And I think you guys, for the most part, those of you that are around for a year, know that once a year, usually about once a year, the Autoway does the curveball cycle. And the curveball cycle is when they take the holds, and 2 holds, usually they're 23 or 24, go up to 25 and 26, and 2 holds that are 25, 26 go down to 23, 24, or thereabouts, in that kind of ballpark, right? So that's part A of the curveball. Part B of the curveball is the double jump. So Derek was saying how we went in double 43s last cycle. And what a double jump is, for those that are new, is when both 43s go to 45 or both 44s go to 45. And that kind of breaks the traditional norm of 143, 144, going to 45. All right. So what I've done here is kind of shown the areas. Now, 41s you want to avoid at all costs. That's horrible. That's 4 points off of 45. So it's really like you're already looking at a 497. If you just hit one, if you hit a 41 instead of a 45, you've lost 4 points. That's 501. Just to remember, 501 is your goal if you're a singles wrestler. We'll talk about perfect point flow later on, but I mentioned it in the next episode. 43s, you can see here 9, 7. So it went up. So I went down twice. So 16 times it went down, and then 20 times it went up. So 43 is a gamble, but it depends what's going on. And one of the things we do in this, and people come and they get feedback, will say like, I never thought about blank, or I never thought about this part of the game. So the other day, Michael Cook mentioned to me that when 43s go up, 90s at 45 or 50, what it was now. I'm not tired. That's why I write these things down. But it's a way of like noticing like when this happens, you know? So 44s. So you're looking at 44. So you know, that's 18 times it's gone down and 18 times it's gone up. So that's a 50-50 shot. I usually look at 44s as a 45 and a 42. And what I do for a lot of my 6-man wrestlers is the third member of the team gets both 44s. Figuring, well, worst case, they lose a couple points, but they're not going to go to 41. But 44 has gone to 41. 45, we see here, it goes, last year went split 9 and 9. I probably butchered that because I'm tired, but point being, when I looked at the gold last year, that's 45s went down most of the time. So it's really a matter of tracking it. And again, this is always just me, you know, throwing ideas and suggestions out there to see if you guys can get a better way to, you know, win. And so what I've done here is I have here's right here, right? There you go. There we go. All right. So here is this cycle's breakdown of the 45s, 41s, 42s, etc. So I did red here. So first things first, I'm going to suggest, or I know I'm not going to use 42s at all. And that's because looking at the history of how many times it's gone down, I just feel safer doing that. Now, be a mistake, but you're looking at 42, and it's really a matter of what your gut tells you, really, what it boils down to. So for me, I look at these and go, okay, we got 90 at 44. So if I'm going to play it safe, let's say I'm going to say safe and sound, I'm going to use 90, right? I'm going to assume 90 goes up to 45, and then I get down to here, 85, 65. Well, if I look at what these holds have done over the last, let's say 6, 7 cycles, where have they been? You know, what have they been doing? But also, more importantly, what has the 43 been doing? So if I play it safe and go, I'm going to go 143 and 144 at my, you know, 11, and 12 spot. Then what I have to look at is the holds individually. So 85 has been a little better than 65 in the last 7 cycles or so. And the IWA has had a history in the last year or so that when you're choosing between the safe hold and the risky hold, the risky one bumps. I know because last year I spent a lot of the time playing it safe and it got hurt a lot. So this is where I would say, if you want to play it safe, go 85. If you want to be risky, go 65. And this cycle, I'm going on a combination mix of these two here mostly, 95, 65. Because I don't like having titles. It's overrated. Up here, 62, 73. We have, obviously our 45s. We want to use those. So again, I'm saying skip those guys. And down here you get 61, 63. Of those two holds, you can use either one, and you're going to go up. So it's a matter if it's going to be a 42, or is it going to be a 43, or possibly a 44. If this hold here ends up being 44 points, you're in luck. It's a good job. If it is not, we all know that feeling. But that's why you challenge every regional champion, because somebody out there might be shittier than you are. You want to win that title. So far so good, I hope. Any questiones? Again, this is just another way to look at the holds and where they go. And like I said, it's on the on that page. Sorry, I kind of feel like I'm like one of those WWE, like, let's go backstage to Bautista, who's watching things, and they're always staring at the screen sideways. Like, what the hell's wrong with these people? Just watch TV like a normal person. Assholes. Just do a whole thing where you do everything sideways. Here's your bowl of cereal, sir. All right, let's get back into it. So that's kind of the back five. I know I'm not going super deep every time, because what I found is when I got to go too deep, people I get flooded with questions like, well, what about this? And like little snippets. So the idea here is figure out what you think will go where. That's kind of a history in the gold fed of what did what. So you can kind of see that, when you're trying to outscore your opponents, it comes down to two things. Are you trying to win in league, or are you trying to make the report? So this here is an example of, if I play 41s, I could be, throwing away a 43, or I could be throwing away a 44 if I guess wrong. But that's what you do, That's how this game comes down to. All right, so I am now going to I work in my head. All right, so that's why I don't build homes. All right, so let's see here. Is higher enough? That's higher enough. All right, so everything was going well. You tried to move that goddamn piece of paper. Here's what I'm gonna do. Aha! All right, so here's our drops this cycle. Now, again, we got half the drop last time, so I want to nail it down. So I want to look at what are available drops. Again, if you look at the IWAR workshop page, you'll see all the breakdown of how everything's split up. So it comes down to 3 major options. That's if they don't use 28, 27s, which I have ruled out because of their proximity, and they just dropped a few months ago. Not the best, not the worst. So 3 major combos are 29, 28, 28, 26, and 27, 26. From what I've heard from people, there's a lot of rumblings, people going 29, 28, and 27, 26, which means it'll be 26s. God damn you! Here's the pairings. So 845, 45, 46, so I won't go through all, you can read them yourself. But you can't probably make out, well, maybe you can. Yeah. But I've marked off some of these because they drop within a certain number of cycles. I believe this one was 2 cycles ago, 3 cycles ago, 4 cycles ago. So like those combos. Now, one thing I do is a bit different, and I guess I'll do an episode on this too, is I look at the pairings of the combos themselves. So what holds were together. So if 8 and 22 were together 3 cycles ago as the drop, the IWAR in gold doesn't repeat the drops with less than like 12 cycles in between them. So anything under a year essentially, or 12 cycles, I consider not viable. I rule it out. So that means this guy are all out. And it's a matter of just narrowing down my choices. So I can't really see that, so I'm going to do a little better. There you go. All right, so it leaves us with, let's see, 9 choices left. So you're saying, okay, now I got to pick 9 out of 5 just to get the front 10 drop right. So then I break it down a little further, and I look at there we go. These holds. So 12, 22, 46, 53. So what that means is I'm looking at these holds individually and what their history was. Now again, we go with point values. We're looking at the values. So when I'm guessing up here, these values, these are attached to these values. So for a while, the IWA had this 9 and 3 fetish when it came to like dropping the drops. Lots of 9 and 3s between. And again, if you go to the workshop page and you scroll down, you'll see on the left side, I've tracked this for, holy crap, it's gonna be like 3 years. So it's an extra tool. So looking at this going across, the red doesn't come through in here very well at all. So I'll try it this way. So you 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, and 25. And that's a way of spotting, okay, so 12's been pretty damn crappy. This goes back to, I think September or fall. And this was the last cycle in January. So where's it going to go next? And just as we had a chart up here for the 44s and all that, I've made a new chart on the worksheet page, push, 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 that shows where the drop goes and where those holds go to. So you can kind of see like side by side. Because one thing I look at, for example, is when you're trying to get the flow right for tag team, you need to have 28s at 9 and 10. That might make no sense to you, but that's okay. We'll get to future episode. Looking at our choices here, you can see we have 2 26s and we have 2 28s. Does that mean anything special? No, but it just means that you're covering a 28-26 and you go, okay, I'm going to do 853 or 46-53. So let's say, for example, down here looking at my options, I decide that, you know what, I think 46 is going to drop. And I think 12 is going to drop. That's just like your gut instinct. Let's say, okay, but those aren't up here as a pairing. That pairing's in one of the picks that is off the grid, or out of the options. That's fine, but you can do is build your choice around that. And I always say, like, the way I approach IWA strat drop is I convince myself of one option, and then I go back, tear it apart, and do the other one. I don't know if you ever saw World War Z. There's a scene where the Israeli scientist is talking about that if a room full of 10 men is, 9 of them are convinced on a subject, the 10th man has to like dispute it, offer the opposite. So sort of similar way, you got to figure yourself, okay, I'm really positive it's going to be a 12-22. I think 12-22 is going to be. That's what I'm sure of it, and that's what you're going with. That's what I went with cash. You go, okay, great. 12's been pretty crappy. 22, not bad, but like it jumps around. And ultimately, what you want to do is you want to cover your bases as best possible, but you have to make a decision if you're going to go all in or not. So when you make a decision on a hold, now for guys like Jordan Drake or Mike Sebastian that run one strategy, this is a much bigger choice. If I had Uh, well, I shouldn't share the secret. I'm going to write it down. I can't say the secret out loud, but there is a secret way to winning big. And if you win big, like this way, it's fine. It's a choice you have to make. And I think that ultimately we all want to win. So if I'll share this tip at the end, and it's for later. For now, we're going to focus on picking our own strats and being set up. Any questions? I'm just scanning in here. I don't see any. All right. Well, any questions? Fire away. I'll try to answer them as we go. I know it's a little later in the day. I did it 11 o'clock to 10:30 because I'm up late. So getting back to this, we see a trail of 25s. Now, some people feel if a hole hits 25 so many times in a row, it's going to level out, and they're going to switch gears, and they do. For a while, 1 was a dog. For a while, 5 was a dog. 12 has been a dog. 59 has been, for the most part, that 26 to 28 range. 29, like it doesn't go to 30, it doesn't go to 25. So, that's a what are you looking at? Let me see if I have. I do. You NWL players can find a copy of your report on the back page. You'll see I have a little spreadsheet here to show, so if I look at 59, I see 2 25s all of last year. And I see 130. It averaged 27. So it danced around. It was never really terrible, but that's the thing is what will happen is we will fall in love with a hold. We will use it till it betrays us, and then we'll discard it. All right, some questions here. Aha! Just started watching. What league are we talking about? Ironing. This is gold, so it's all the IWAR leagues, which are in the Gold Federation. And it is just a matter of, this can be done for other leagues too. I don't think anybody else does this, but I do it for gold because one, it kind of helps me in my head, and two, it helps players who are like, "What the hell is going on?" Because if you're walking into this game without any experience IWA, this is a real like, what? What's a drop? What? It just people get confused and they bolt. So we try to do this as a way to kind of help people coach along and say, okay, here's some ways. Now I know this is a lot. If you look at it out of the blue, you're like, what? But I try to explain the best I can. So feel free to fire away with questions. I'm always happy to answer them or try to. That is you. So other things coming up. You can say, okay, well, this guy 53 is a 25 once. Is it due to drop? And it's a tricky thing to do because a lot of this is just your hunch. And you have to go, okay, I really think 53 is going to drop. So if I say, well, 53 is going to drop, and that's my choice, I've got 8 and 53 and 5 53. Now, here's the thing. 5 is here and here, has been good lately. It's actually been pretty decent. So it's funny. I don't think there's any one set method of identifying what you think is going to be a dog. It's kind of what you think. But if you really feel strongly about a hold, like dropping or falling on the face of the earth, then go for it. Your gut instinct is probably your best hunch. I know for a while, some of the players and I would talk about, like, oh, what are you going for a drop? And we wouldn't share until after we submitted our matches because, what if they hear what I say? And it's never like I don't hear someone say, like, I'm going with this drop. I'm more like, no. So you can see here where certain holds more. Now, you might notice I didn't put 8 as one of the ones I broke down here. But 8 is here, 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 and here. So you have 4 options with 8. So if you were thinking, okay, I want to cover my base as best as possible, so I'm going to do 8, and that covers 4 of the 9, or 4 of the 12 strats. It's about coverage. Now, again, I mentioned before, are you trying to win in your league, or are you trying to make the report? And when I say that, I don't mean not like saying like you can't do both. You can obviously make the report, you win your league. But when you're doing your numbers and trying to figure your strat out and going for your maximum points, are you, you know, are you going for, a risk? You're going to play it safe? Are you going to go and say, okay, 45, 46. 45 isn't pretty good. Maybe it's due for a drop. And I remember, I think it was 32 was really good for a while. Or 31, I think 33, I forget which one it was. But it was like a consistent hold. It was almost as good as 25. I'm like, wow. And then I was like, I think it was 32. Because they will shake it up on us. So it really comes down to us being willing to take the risk. All right, so let's see. 12 and 53. Yes, so 12 and 53. So there it is right there. Okay, there's only one problem with 1253. And I have it on my sheet. I don't have it on your sheets online. That combo dropped 3 cycles ago. That exact 1253. Not that combo, I said that pairing of holds. All right, so I'll write it down here. So this was 3, this was 2, and this was 4. All right, so those together, this was 15 cycles ago. This was 12 cycles ago, or vice versa. I think I erased it. But I look at that because I don't think that anybody's going to drop these 3 combos because they were just so recently. They won't repeat that. Could they? Of course they could, because it's IWA, and the thing you think is not going to happen is going to happen. But for the most part, you can play it pretty safe. And that's why, like, I rule out last cycle's drop and the cycle before's drop. And I look at the third cycle ago drop and go, mostly this time because it was 28s. Or whatever, I think it was 28s. See, I keep seeing some questions here, so don't mind me. I'm trying to scroll along and play along here. Hey, Brian Gustafson says, I'm wondering if 90 is going to drop to unusable. Never. Sorry, I just heard a rumbling. We had a shooting here the other day. That was fun. Up the street. A semi-automatic fire. It's great. So we're a little skittish around these parts now. So 90 will always be good. I don't think it'll ever drop. I'm sorry. It'll always be good because 25 and 90 are kind of your stalwarts. The rumor always was that Johnny B loved the 25 flying drop kick. And I think it's fall away slam now. Well, let's find out. Yeah, it's fall away slam. And 90 superplex. So I always say, always use 90, always use 25. Now, having said all of that, I'm going to mess with your head. I'm going to mess with your heads and go another direction. And that is, what if 90 drops to 43? What if this is a cycle for a double 43 jump? Now, I told you earlier, Derek told me he used it last time and got burned because it didn't go to both 43s, it didn't go to 45. So, knowing that way, like I know that way, I'm always either a cycle early or a cycle behind. So, on one of my strats, I put 90 at the 15 spot. And another one of my strats, I used 90, but it was at the 12 spot. That's a 6-minute strat. Another story. All right, sorry. I'm getting messages from some of you online right now and some people via text. So do it in the window so I can see it. Actually, it's over this way. It's over. Yeah, whatever. So what if 90 goes to 43? So that goes down. And what if both 43s go to 45? Could it happen? Absolutely. As a general rule, my personal opinion, the easier the front 10 is and appears to be, the worse the back end will be. And conversely, the easier the back end, the more the front end is going to be a curveball. So there's that. Let's see here. I always run double 43s if 90 is at 43 as a backup. Hamilton Ortiz there. hope you guys don't mind mentioning names, just because people that watch this video later on, they're going to see me. They're not going to see the little sidebar over there. So it's one of those things to think about. Now, I won't go into great detail about it now, but in the future, I will happily do a show about flows and pairing up holds, because that's an area where most players make that leap. Like, okay, when you understand, like I always wonder, like I won that Autoway tag belts in 2005, and I think back of how I did the strats then, and what I used to do. I used to do what I think will be 30 at 1-2 for Rick Riley, and 3 and 4 would be Victor Von Schnapp with the same holds, and so I was hopscotching. I wasn't flowing. You might be saying, what does that mean? Hopscotching is when you do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, right? 5, 6, 7, 8. Flowing is when 1 and 2 mirror each other. So if you have 25 hold on 1, you put the 25 hold on 2. And if you're a tag team, that's going to be 30 points, 30 points. Hooray. And you go from there. I'll talk more about that in a later episode. I'm looking forward to that one, because I will say, honestly, when Joshua Haight showed me some stuff and was like, woo! So, hooray. All right, let me see what I got here for my list of things to do. Drops available. Oh, pretty much there. So I think that's pretty good for now. It's been 41 minutes. Oh my God. As a reminder, get your stuff in Monday by 9 a.m. Every cycle, someone's like, yeah, I'm sending in Tuesday morning. And then they get inactive. And they're like, I don't know what happened. Like, you waited until Tuesday morning. The Autoway tries to crank their stuff out and get it done by Monday night. And then they pack everything Tuesday morning and mail it. And if there's, gold's a bigger fed. So I think, I think gold and bronze are the two biggest feds now. So that's 2 cycles that are like, rounds. We're like, oh man. Let me think, what else? Any other questions? Not seeing anything. Okay, that's good. It is always a crapshoot, but I'm trying to make it a little easier to understand. Get it in by Monday, 9 a.m. if you can. We have a lot going on. Just in the IWAR itself, we have pay-per-view write-ups. We have the Clash Champions at NWL. We have the Royal Rumble in the BRL. We have the this Tuesday in Texas matchup to determine the new IWL heavyweight champion. You'll never guess who won it. Finally, only been 6 years. Oh man. Let's see what else. We have the events coming up. So again, Four Corners Invitational, Von Erich Classic, Murano Memorial, Johnny B Cup. These are all going to be happening in the next month, or so. So for instance, Four Corners Invitational and the Von Erich Classic, a singles and a 6-man tournament, will launch, I think, next cycle. So after this one, so you got to get your thing in. And I swear to God, man, every time someone's like, 2 cycles after it starts. There's one player in particular who was famous. I won't mention his name. The other commissioners that dealt with him know this. You'd be like 3 cycles into the Johnny B Cup. Hey, man, I want to sign my guys up. Are you shitting me? Like, really? Like, what's the clockwork? Like, have you read anything we've written? Oh, man. Let's see. Oh, Soul Survivor. Yes, IWL Soul Survivor, which is going to be crazy. So get in. That's $1 as well. Let me see here. 29 world tags. Hey, buddy, I have 11 world tags, Mr. Cook. And one of which I don't even know how I won it. I have 1 U.S. tag, 1 U.S. 6-man, which I don't think really counts in today's 6-man. I've never won the 6-man championship. Oh, well. What are you going to do? Yes, thank you, Brian. So Soul Survivor's coming up. Soul Survivor's IWL exclusive. Excuse me, I can talk. Exclusive. And the winner takes the entire entry fee pot home with them. So that'll be credit. And they get a shot at the IWL heavyweight champion, which is me right now. Well, I mean, someone. Yeah, so I think we have to look at the big picture here. I don't try to, share the secret sauce recipe or the 11 spices and whatever. but I try to give you the basics. And this here is another one trying to make happen. I hope this helped. And remember, when all else fails, if you really want to win big, add 100 wrestlers and flood. It works. I did it myself when I'm in Iron 2014. I flooded Iron. Well, it was January. And I think I won the tag the second cycle there. So it can work. So if you're just looking to just make the report and tear off that Band-Aid, finally get through, do it. Put 100 wrestlers in Jade. I'll do an episode about how much I hate Jade. God damn, I hate Jade. When I designed the LWL, I was like, I'm going to put it in Jade because I'll have 5 cycles to work off of. I can't miss. Jade sucks. Oh, God, Jade sucks. Let's see here. I'm trying to scroll down. My computer's being... Oh, okay. New comments. I know there's new comments, computer. God damn kids. Anyways, I'll read those later, I guess. Any other questions? As always, if you have a topic you want the show to talk about, like you're like, hey, talk about how to flow with multiple teammates or how to, I don't know. It's just a topic I haven't thought of. Again, we're trying to make this simple and easy for everyone to digest. Hold on, let me just so you know, my computer's essentially frozen. Maybe it's cut off already. But we'll get there eventually. Anyways, I hope everyone had a good time. This helped, and I will see you next month. Or I won't because it won't let me stop recording. That's a good time. God damn. The exciting... Alex, when you're putting this onto YouTube later, you can cut the last minute and a half off where I can't get this thing to stop. Technology. I'm going to close the window. The hell with it. Bye, guys.